The Vikings were a seafaring people from the late 8th to early 11th century who originated from Scandinavia, primarily modern-day Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Renowned for their long ships and fearless exploration, the Vikings left an indelible mark on the history of Europe and beyond. They were not only raiders and warriors, but also traders, explorers, and settlers who influenced many cultures and regions. The Viking Age began in 793 AD with the infamous raid on the Lindisfarne Monastery in England. This event sent shockwaves throughout Europe, marking the start of a period characterized by Viking raids, exploration, and settlement. The Vikings ventured far beyond their homelands, reaching as far as North America to the west and the Caspian Sea to the east. With their long ships, with their shallow drafts and high speeds, were perfect for navigating both open seas and shallow rivers, allowing them to strike quickly and retreat before local defenses could respond. Despite their reputation as fierce warriors, the Vikings were primarily farmers and traders. Viking society was structured around a hierarchical system with kings and chieftains at the top, followed by warriors, freemen, and thralls, slaves. The Vikings valued honor, bravery, and loyalty, and these values were reflected in their societal norms and practices. Women in Viking society had more rights compared to other contemporary cultures. They could own property, initiate divorce, and reclaim dowries. Viking warfare was a blend of strategic planning, brutal combat, and psychological warfare. Their iconic weapons included swords, axes, spears, and shields. The Vikings also used berserkers, warriors who fought with a trance-like fury to terrify their enemies. Their success in battle was often attributed to their element of surprise, mobility, and superior seamanship. They did not build permanent armies, but relied on seasonal warriors who returned to their farms after raids. One of the most significant Viking invasions was the arrival of the Great Heathen Army in England in 865 AD. Led by legendary figures such as Ivar the Boneless and Halfdan Ragnarsson. This coalition of Viking warriors sought to conquer and settle in England. Over the next decade, they captured large parts of England, leading to the establishment of the Denmark, a region under Viking control where Norse law and customs prevailed. This period saw the integration of Viking and Anglo-Saxon cultures, influencing language, art, and legal practices. The Vikings were exceptional explorers who discovered and settled new lands far beyond Europe. One of the most notable explorers was Eric the Red, who established a settlement in Greenland. His son, Leif Erikson, went even further, reaching the shores of North America around the year 1000 AD, nearly 500 years before Christopher Columbus. The Vikings called this new land Vinland, believed to be located in modern-day Newfoundland, Canada. The Vikings established settlements in various regions, including Iceland, Greenland, and parts of North America. They also settled in areas they conquered, such as Normandy in France and parts of the British Isles. These settlements facilitated cultural exchange and integration. The Vikings adopted elements of the local cultures, while also influencing them with their language, art, and customs. In places like Ireland and Scotland, Viking influence can still be seen in place names, archaeological finds, and folklore. The Vikings, known as Varangians in the East, played a crucial role in the formation of the early Russian state. They established trade routes along the rivers of Eastern Europe, connecting the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea and beyond. The Varangian Guard, an elite unit of Viking warriors, served as personal bodyguards to the Byzantine emperors in Constantinople showcasing the far-reaching influence and integration of Viking warriors into various cultures and empires. The Vikings practiced a polytheistic religion centered around gods and goddesses such as Odin, Thor, Freyja, and Loki. Their mythology, rich with tales of heroism, betrayal, and the end of the world Ragnarok, was passed down through generations in the form of sagas and poetry. These stories, filled with complex characters and dramatic narratives, were not only entertainment, but also a means of preserving history and teaching moral lessons. Viking funerals often involved elaborate rituals, including ship burials for the elite, to honor the deceased and ensure their passage to the afterlife. Grave goods, such as weapons, jewelry, and tools, were buried with the dead to provide for them in the afterlife, reflecting the belief in a life beyond death. By the late 10th and early 11th centuries, the Viking world began to convert to Christianity. This transition was gradual and often politically motivated. Kings and chieftains adopted the new religion to gain favor with powerful Christian kingdoms in Europe. The conversion marked the end of the Viking Age, as the new faith discouraged the pagan practices of raiding and pillaging. The integration of Christian values and institutions into Viking society transformed their culture and governance. Christian missionaries played a crucial role in this transformation, establishing churches and monasteries throughout Scandinavia and converting the populace. The Christianization process also led to the creation of written records, as the Latin alphabet replaced runic inscriptions, allowing for better documentation of history and culture. The Viking Age drew to a close in the 11th century with the consolidation of centralized kingdoms in Scandinavia and the increasing power of European states. The Battle of Stamford Bridge in 1066, where King Harald Hardrada of Norway was defeated by the English King Harold Godwinson, is often cited as the end of the Viking Age. The rise of strong monarchies in Scandinavia, the spread of Christianity, and the development of fortified towns reduced the need for raiding and expansion. However, the legacy of the Vikings continued to influence European history and culture long after their decline. The legacy of the Vikings is still evident today in various aspects of modern culture, language, and history. Many English words have Norse origins, and Viking mythology continues to inspire literature, films, and art. Archaeological discoveries, such as the Oseberg ship and the treasures of Gokstad, provide valuable insights into Viking life and craftsmanship. The Viking spirit of exploration and adventure is celebrated in popular culture, reflecting their enduring impact on the world. Modern reconstructions of Viking ships, festivals celebrating Viking heritage, and exhibitions in museums around the world keep the memory of the Vikings alive. The story of the Vikings is one of adventure, conquest, and cultural exchange. Their journeys across seas and continents left an indelible mark on the history of Europe and beyond, from the fearsome raiders who struck terror into the hearts of medieval Europeans to the traders and settlers who helped shape the early Russian state. The Vikings were a complex and multifaceted people. Their legacy lives on in the sagas, artifacts, and cultural influences that continue to captivate and inspire people around the world. The Vikings were also skilled craftsmen and artists. Their intricate metalwork, wood carvings, and textiles reflect a high level of artistic achievement and technical skill. Viking artifacts, such as the gelling stones in the Oseberg ship, are celebrated for their detailed craftsmanship and beauty. These items not only served practical purposes, but also conveyed social status and cultural identity. The Vikings' artistic legacy can be seen in the intricate designs of their jewelry, the elaborate decorations on their ships, and the symbolic motifs in their artwork. Viking society was also marked by a strong oral tradition. The skalds, or poets, played a crucial role in preserving and transmitting the history and mythology of the Vikings. Through their poems and stories, they celebrated the deeds of heroes, recounted historical events, and conveyed moral lessons. This oral tradition was eventually written down in the form of sagas and eddas, which remain important sources of knowledge about Viking culture and beliefs. The sagas, in particular, provide vivid accounts of Viking life, exploring themes of honor, fate, and the human condition. In addition to their cultural and artistic achievements, the Vikings made significant contributions to navigation and shipbuilding. Their longships, with their shallow drafts and symmetrical design, were highly maneuverable and capable of both ocean and river travel. These ships allowed the Vikings to explore and settle distant lands, from the coasts of North America to the rivers of Eastern Europe. The Vikings' navigational skills were also advanced for their time. They used the sun, stars, and landmarks to guide their journeys, and they developed tools such as the sunstone and the sun compass to aid in navigation. The Viking economy was diverse and multifaceted, encompassing agriculture, trade, and craftsmanship. While raiding was a significant aspect of Viking activity, trade played an equally important role in their economy. The Vikings established extensive trade networks that connected Scandinavia with the rest of Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. They traded goods such as furs, amber, slaves, and walrus ivory, and they imported items like silver, silk, and spices. Viking towns such as Burka and York became important centers of commerce and cultural exchange. The Vikings' impact on Europe was profound and far-reaching. They influenced the political landscape, leading to the formation of new kingdoms and the restructuring of existing ones. Both their raids and settlements prompted defensive innovations, such as the construction of fortifications and the development of naval forces. The Vikings also played a role in the spread of new ideas and technologies, such as shipbuilding techniques and navigational tools. Their interactions with various cultures contributed to the exchange of knowledge and the blending of traditions. In conclusion, the story of the Vikings is a testament to their resilience, adaptability, and influence. From their origins in the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia to their far-reaching explorations and settlements, the Vikings left an enduring legacy that continues to fascinate and inspire. Their achievements in exploration, craftsmanship, warfare, and cultural exchange highlight their complexity as a people and their significant impact on the world. The saga of the Vikings is not just a tale of conquest and adventure, but also a story of cultural richness and historical significance. A story that continues to captivate and resonate with people today.